a seventh and deciding game in the American League Championship Series.
It all comes down to tonight. The Blue Jays are now one win away from securing a spot in the World Series for the first time since 1993. Good afternoon. The Jays were able to force the winner-take-all contest after beating the Mariners 6-2 in Game 6 last night.
A win tonight would see the team advance to the Fall Classic for the first time in 32 years, while a loss would mean the end of their season. CTV's Rahim Ladhani has been speaking with fans and joins us now with more on how they're feeling ahead of tonight's big game. Rahim, felt so good to have that win last night.
Hey, Michelle and Nathan, good afternoon. Yeah, it was an incredible win last night, and now there's another one to be had. You know, whether you're a professional on the Toronto Blue Jays or an amateur athlete, everyone has a childhood memory of throwing the ball around in the backyard, envisioning that they're the ones playing in a Game 7. And tonight, for the Toronto Blue Jays, they have a chance to live out that childhood memory. And it's something that this franchise has not been a part of since 1985. We're talking the likes of George Bell, Tony Fernandez, Jesse Barfield. And I think what makes this moment so special for this Blue Jays team, it's the fashion in which they've arrived here during the ALCS. They were down 2-0. They lost the first two games here at home at the Rogers Center, and a lot of people wrote them off. They did not think that they'd be here. Well, they went to Seattle and they stuck together. They took 2 out of 3 there, and then they came back home yesterday and took care of business, and now it's all on the line for Game 6. A spot in the World Series, something which hasn't been done since 1993 for this franchise. On the other side, the Seattle Mariners have never been in a World Series. Let's talk about what we witnessed last night in Game 6. We'll show you some of the highlights from there, and it all began with Addison Barger. What a postseason he is having. In the second inning, he had a base hit. That got the Jays on the scoreboard first, and he followed that up in the third with a 2-run home run. And how about Vladimir Guerrero Jr.? I'm dubbing him Mr. October because he is having an incredible postseason. He hasn't always been clutch in years past, but he's showing right now. That new contract, yeah, it's worth it. He added a solo shot in the 5th to make it 5-0. It was his 6th home run of the postseason, setting a Blue Jays playoff record, not just for one postseason, but overall. Jose Bautista and Joe Carter had shared the club record of 5 playoff home runs with Guerrero, but Vladdy has now overtaken them. Every time he steps to the plate right now, he is a force to be reckoned with. Now, on the other side of the diamond, Trey Savage. I mean, he's been savage all postseason. He's 22 years old, and he's proven that he's built for this moment. Yesterday, he pitched 5 2/3 innings, 7 strikeouts, and he said that this ballpark was absolutely electric after the game last night. And I can tell you, we've been outside here at the Rogers Center, and this place is still buzzing. Everybody is dressed in Blue Jays gear. We've been talking with a lot of fans about the reaction to last night and what they expect tonight. Have a listen.
My dad's shirt from '92.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I feel pretty good. I think we're going to take it tonight. Last night's game was amazing.
They're going to win. They got to win. Kirk. I love Kirk.
You know, I hope it's close. That makes it exciting, but maybe hard on the heart, too.
It's almost like John Schneider's pulling on the nerves on one end, and then Vladdy's like taming them down on the other. Game 7 seems like redemption, but game 1 and 2, crazy electric. I expect that today the roof is going to be like blowing off with the noise.
The vibe is heavy. I remember when we won the NBA championship, and now the Blue Jays is at this point. It's so exciting. The buzz in the city is heavy, so we can't wait to see them win tonight and go to the main final and win it all. Go, just go. Go.
So obviously a lot of excitement you can see right there. On the mound for the Blue Jays tonight, Shane Bieber. And it's an interesting postseason because in Game 3 in Seattle, he was lights out when the Jays needed him most. That got them back into the series. But then if you rewind a little further, Game 3 against New York in the Bronx, not so much. And so it'll be interesting to see which Shane Bieber we get. He was signed by the Blue Jays at the trade deadline for moments like this. He wants the ball in these big situations, and so if you're a Blue Jays fan, you hope he delivers and he gets them settled, and a lot of strikeouts early on, of course. We all know what's on the line right now. An appearance in the World Series, a date with the Los Angeles Dodgers. For the Blue Jays, it would be the first time that they've arrived in the World Series since 1993, and of course we'll be here providing all the coverage. Reporting live, I'm Rahim Ladhani. Michelle, back to you.
It's time. Thank you, Rahim. I was in grade 3, so let's do this. Meanwhile, MPPs offered their support for the Jays ahead of the start of the fall legislative session at Queen's Park this morning.
We need one win. One more win, right? So what are we going to do? On 3, 2, 1, go Jays, go!
And still to come, we'll have more on what's on the agenda at Queen's Park a little bit later in the newscast.
A man is fighting for his life in hospital following an assault in Brampton last night.
Now, Peel Regional Police are trying to find out who was behind the violent attack. CTV's John Musselman has been following the investigation and joins us live now with more. John.
Well, Nathan, I'll let you know just off the top that the victim is now listed in stable condition. We'll show you some video. We're on Clifton Court. That's near Sandalwood in Huron, Ontario. Police were called to this area around 10:30 last night for reports of gunfire. Neighbors we've spoken to say they heard at least 8 to 10 shots ring out here. It happened in a home on Clifton Court. Now, when police arrived, they did find a 37-year-old man with gunshot wounds. He was rushed to a trauma center. At that point, he was listed in critical condition. Police now say he is in stable condition. Now, what's going on here? Police have forensic officers inside the home. We don't really know what the motive for this shooting is, but at this point, police are saying it is an isolated incident and there is no threat to the public here. Now, this is a very quiet street. We had a chance to speak to some neighbors. Here's what they had to say this morning.
Initially sounded like firecrackers, but you know, as soon as you stop to think about it, it was so flat. It's what it's what gunfire is supposed to sound like.
It's really scary because I moved in this house in 1986. Since then, was a so quiet area. So it was a so nice area.
Now, police continue to investigate the home behind me. They're also searching some of the yards adjacent to the home for any possible shell casings in connection to this shooting. There are a number of high-end vehicles in the driveway and in the garage. Again, we don't know the motive for this, but neighbors say this same address. Police were here on December 17th last year investigating a situation. We'll try to get more information, and we'll have more on this story on CTV News at 5 and 6. Reporting live in Brampton, I'm John Musselman. I'll send it back to you.
Thank you, John. Police, meantime, are investigating a shooting in North York this morning. Evidence of gunfire was found on Millwick Drive near Islington and Steeles. Police were called to the area for reports of a shooting just after 6:30 a.m. One person was shot and made their own way to hospital. Police say their injuries are not life-threatening. Investigators have not released any information about possible suspects. York Regional Police are investigating after shots were fired in Woodbridge last night. Police say the bullets flew towards a vehicle outside an event space in the area of Highway 7 and Weston Road. This is just before 10 p.m. No injuries reported here. York Regional Police have not provided any details on possible suspects in this case.
Police have released more information about a vehicle involved in a hit and run which seriously injured a teen. It happened Wednesday near Bayview and Heathcote Avenue. Police say a 15-year-old girl riding an e-bike was hit by a vehicle making a left turn from Bayview onto Heathcote. The driver left the scene. The vehicle is described as a 2013 to 2015 dark gray Toyota RAV4. Investigators say it's missing the driver's side mirror cap as well as the driver's side chrome window molding. They're asking anyone with information to come forward.
Toronto police have announced they're launching a 3-month enforcement campaign aimed at reducing congestion. Police say parking enforcement and traffic services officers will be increasing enforcement of the Highway Traffic Act and bylaw offenses in the downtown core. Police say they're targeting congestion-causing violations, including no stopping, no parking, and blocking the box offenses. Officers will also be cracking down on prohibited turns, speeding, distracted driving, and traffic signal violations. The increased enforcement will take place from Bloor to Front and Bathurst to Jarvis from 3 to 7 p.m. on weekdays.
MPPs returned to the legislature for the first time since June this morning. The Minister of Labour was grilled over the Skills Development Fund. The Auditor General found the process of deciding who gets that cash to train workers wasn't fair or transparent.
What was the common denominator? Lobbyists. Lobbyists with connections to this government, to this premier, and to this minister. We're seeing the minister now hanging out in Paris and at Leafs games with those very same lobbyists. So I want to ask the minister, to come clean about his connections to lobbyists that have business before his ministry, or are we going to have to keep digging it up ourselves?
You know, I think the stories like Jennifer, a NORCAT Common Core mining program in the north. She was unemployed, Speaker, thanks to the Skills Development Fund. She's now working at Musselman White Mine, Speaker. But we know that Jennifer wouldn't have a job if left to the members opposite. They don't support mining. They don't support our Ring of Fire. They don't support the infrastructure projects that are going to get people there.
Liberals called on the Premier to fire his Labour minister, but Piccini continued to field question after question, suggesting he isn't going anywhere.
Millions of people around the world and across Canada are celebrating Diwali. The annual Festival of Lights is one of the most significant dates in Hinduism. A record 2.6 million Sarayu lamps were lit along a riverbank in India to mark the festival, which is held over 5 days. In Toronto, Mayor Olivia Chow has proclaimed today as Diwali Day.
And we have more news in a moment, but first let's talk about the forecast. Here's a live look at Rogers Centre this afternoon. Cloudy and cool to start the work week, a big difference from the mild weekend that we had. But for sports fans, there's a good feeling in the air. Lindsay Morrison joins us now live from outside Rogers Centre with a look at the current conditions. You're in the place to be, Lindsay.
This is the place to be, Nathan. It may be a little quiet here right now fan-wise, but you know that's going to change in just a matter of hours. And you're right, fans had some pretty stormy weather to contend with yesterday on their way here to Rogers Centre. It was mild, but we had rain and very strong winds. Not only are we drying out for today, but the sun is just starting to come out. In fact, as I look up, I can see a beautiful blue sky starting to form over the dome and the CN Tower. Let's begin with a look at your forecast and our current conditions. So you can see the rain pulling away. We had a good dose of it through the overnight hours as well, in addition to during the daytime hours yesterday. And the winds have been a story. So these are your current sustained winds, gusting even stronger than this in some cases, upwards of 50 kilometers per hour in the city of Toronto, for example. Temperature-wise, all right, it's not too bad out here right now. It is 14 degrees. We're on our way to a forecast daytime high of 15. Technically, this is an above seasonal day. Normal temperature this time of year is closer to 12, 13 degrees. So we will enjoy that. We're going to see these showers continue to come to an end through the rest of the afternoon. And conditions look pretty clear for the game tonight. That said, I still think it's unlikely that the dome will be open. We're keeping an eye on it here behind me, but there's a look at your Game 7 forecast. Can you believe we're saying that? Let's go Blue Jays. Lots more to come from live in downtown Toronto coming up a little later in the show. But for now, Nathan and Michelle, back inside to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. Relations between Canada and India have been strained for years, but high-level efforts are underway to repair the relationship.
As CTV's Jeremy Sharon reports, it appears energy could play a key role in restoring ties.
It is one of Canada's most valuable resources, and Ottawa is looking for new markets to export its energy products in the future as India faces pressure to find a new supplier rather than relying on controversial Russian oil.
Would you turn to Canada as a supplier in lieu of that?
We will turn to anywhere who can supply us. You have to understand we're a 1.4 billion population country.
In an exclusive interview on CTV's Question Period, India's new High Commissioner said India wants Canada to be a reliable partner and believes it could be.
We look for suppliers where they can be a reliable supplier, not a supplier who today says, okay, I'm going to supply you, and tomorrow says, no, I have this problem with you, I cannot supply you.
Do you consider Canada reliable in that vein right now? Not yet.
Not yet.
The High Commissioner's comments come as Canada looks to rebuild its relationship with New Delhi.
I think there's so much at stake for both countries, so I'm hopeful at this point. It does appear to be moving in the right direction.
Energy clearly is going to be a big part of that relationship.
This former diplomat and expert on Canada's relations with Asia believes there's potential for significant Canadian energy exports to India in the future.
I think what we're seeing from the Indian side is signaling that they are interested, but that they're looking to see what Canada has to offer.
But efforts toward new trade ties between the two countries come as allegations made by former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and the RCMP linking Indian diplomats to homicides and extortions in this country remain under investigation.
This will continue to be a challenge for both governments.
Global Affairs says Canada continues to engage with its Indian counterparts on law enforcement cooperation and is committed to strengthening and rebuilding its relationship with India.
Jeremy Sharon, CTV News, Ottawa.
Also out of Ottawa, the federal government has previewed new measures that will be in next month's budget to address financial fraud.
Our budget is a plan to protect Canadians and help you feel more secure in how you save, spend, and how you invest. Most of us know someone who had their credit card compromised, fallen for a scam, or face suspicious financial activity or outright exploitation.
The Liberals' plan would see banks establish procedures to detect and prevent fraud. It would include obtaining express consent of account holders before enabling transfers and payment capabilities. There would also be a voluntary economic abuse code of conduct to address when one person abusively controls another's access to money or credit.
The ceasefire in Gaza is being tested again this morning as 3 people were reportedly killed by Israeli fire near a ceasefire line.
The violence comes as American envoys Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner are in Israel to push for the start of the second phase of the ceasefire plan. U.S. President Donald Trump says the truce is still in place.
We want to make sure that it's going to be very peaceful with Hamas. And as you know, they've been quite rambunctious. They've been doing some shooting, and we think maybe the leadership isn't involved in that, some rebels within.
A wave of Israeli strikes killed 28 people in Gaza on Sunday. Israel says it launched the strikes after an earlier attack killed 2 of its soldiers. The IDF says it will resume enforcement of the ceasefire, and more aid deliveries to Gaza are also expected to resume.
2 airport workers were killed when a Boeing 747 cargo jet skidded off a runway into the sea in Hong Kong. Airport officials say it happened around 4 a.m. local time as the plane was coming in for a landing. The jet had taxied about halfway down the runway before it skidded off the runway.
Unfortunately, an airport security patrol car was there at that time. The aircraft collided with the patrol car and pushed the car into the sea.
The 4 crew members on the cargo jet were not injured. Rescuers attempted to save the airport workers from the water. 1 person died at the scene, while the other later died in hospital.
The Louvre remains closed this morning following a heist yesterday that is making global headlines. Visitors lined up outside the Louvre this morning as the museum opened an hour late. However, officials later announced the facility would be closed again for the day.
It's kind of stunning because, well, I'm going out of the country in 2 days, so I've been planning this day for like 2 or 3 months.
I think they should have announced the closure last night rather than this morning after everybody was already in line. But it's a shame.
Early Sunday morning, 4 thieves used a basket lift to enter the museum. Reports indicate they were carrying small chainsaws and escaped on scooters, with the robbery taking around 4 minutes. Investigators say the group made off with 9 jewels from the collection of Napoleon. A crown containing more than 1,000 diamonds was later found broken outside of the museum.
Amazon's cloud service is showing significant signs of recovery after an outage which affected several popular websites and apps, including Snapchat, Zoom, and Lyft.
Well, the fact that it's gone public is very interesting because I'm sure Amazon has quite robust cybersecurity to actually mitigate for instances like this, where they don't have to inform their vendors that problems like this happen. This is a clear sign that having a cloud infrastructure that is so monopolistic is problematic. And a lot of people don't realize that many of the new things that we are building in AI, et cetera, are being built on AWS. If this is an indication about how quickly and fragile this AWS system is, we might be in bigger trouble than we think.
Amazon Web Services provides on-demand computing power, data storage, and other digital services. AWS says it has identified the root cause of the issue and is working to fix it. The company says the problem originated on the U.S. East Coast at a unit which provides web infrastructure for several companies. A piece of history discovered in an old book has connected 2 families.
It's also offering a reminder of a unique part of Canadian history. CTV's Caitlin Wilson has the story.
We have two different kinds. We have a ration book 5 and we have ration book 6.
It's the last thing Sherry Laurent expected to find when she picked up a couple of old books from a church sale in St. Lambert, Quebec, more than 30 years ago.
I can't remember if they were all in one book or maybe in 2 or 3 books, and I just noticed them and I thought, oh, I'll take these books.
Tucked between the pages, pieces of history frozen in time.
This one was the newer version. It has a couple more pages.
They were ration cards issued to Canadian families during the Second World War when things like sugar, meat and butter were strictly limited to help stretch supplies and support the war effort.
My parents are both deceased, but they, lived through the war and that sort of thing. So I've heard about them, but I had never seen them in person.
For years, she kept them on a shelf before moving to Ottawa, where they sat in a box until recently when she came across them again and wondered who did they belong to. So she turned to Facebook, posting a few photos and a name.
Within minutes, I had a couple of people, hey, I know that family, I could put you in touch with somebody. So it literally took less than an hour.
Her search led her to Ian Keeler in Brossard, Quebec, the grandson of Don and Agnes, known as Nessie Keeler. The names written on the outside of the books, which also belonged to his father and uncle.
The part is really interesting. I'm a very big interested in my genealogy. So I was very, very keen to get those ration cards because to me it added another piece of the history.
He says his grandfather had immigrated from Trinidad, served in the First World War, and married his wife in Scotland before the couple settled in what's now St. Hubert, Quebec.
It's a lot harder to find stories and the links to the past when the people are no longer with us. You've got to go with little bits and pieces of paper you find in books.
Now Ian's sister plans to meet Sherry in person to collect the ration cards, a small act of kindness closing a chapter roughly 80 years in the making.
That book has 2 stories. That is the original story of the book and also the story of the World War II ration cards. And I think that's just very, very, very interesting.
Caitlin Wilson, CTV News.
In Ottawa, the Royal Canadian Legion presented the ceremonial first poppy to the Governor-General today.
To all the veterans, to all members of Canada and the United Nations peacekeeping forces, to all serving members of Canada's military forces, we thank you. It is with reverence and gratitude that I accept the first poppy.
This represents the ceremonial start to the remembrance period and announces the coming National Poppy Campaign. It begins annually on the last Friday in October, and poppies will be available to the public beginning October 31st this year. The Legion says funds donated locally during the campaign are distributed locally to help support veterans and their families and, of course, to promote remembrance. Let's check in with Lindsay down at Rogers Centre.
Well, Michelle, not only is it the postseason, but it has been an October to remember for the Jays, and we're hoping that tonight's game is going to be the most memorable yet. But of course, it's not the only big thing happening tonight. Happy Diwali to all celebrating. Here's a look at your forecast for the evening hours. Fireworks, of course, a big part of the celebration, and it looks like the weather is going to cooperate for those too, with the winds easing as we progress through the evening. Overnight tonight, we drop to a low of about 8 degrees, which is warmer than normal. It's not as warm as it was earlier this month, but I think many of us will take it. We are live downtown Toronto, just outside of Rogers Centre. We're going to tee up for the big game tonight and give you your weather forecast for the rest of the week. That's all coming up here on CTV News at noon. Stay with us.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Second Harvest has teamed up with The Well for a unique and delicious initiative to help support the community. Burger Fest is underway, with proceeds from every single burger going to help those most in need. CTV's Jessica Smith joins us with more. Jess, I don't need an excuse to eat a burger, but this is a good one.
I'm just saying it's never a bad day to indulge in a burger, but when it goes to such an important cause, Michelle, it really does make such a big difference. And speaking of that, we're here today in support of Second Harvest. I want to bring in Ms. Lori. Now, talk to me about this connection, because you're feeding the community while trying to also feed the community in a different way. How did this kind of collaboration come about?
So this is an amazing collaboration. It's Burger Fest. It's at the Well. 10 restaurants are participating. And basically $1 from every burger goes to Second Harvest. So while you're eating a great burger, we're able to feed people that are in need right now.
And on the food side of things, Andrew, I have to bring you in here. You've created and crafted what looks like a beautiful burger. What does this mean to you to be able to help feed people in a number of different ways when it comes to those coming into the restaurants, but also helping those most in need in our communities?
It's fantastic. It's really rewarding, and who doesn't love a good burger?
So tell me what we have on the table here, because what does the National offer? I know there's 10 restaurants, but what does the National offer?
This is our national burger. So it's 2 beef patties that we grind in-house, cheese, lettuce, tomato, pickle, our sauce, and a potato bun. It comes with a choice of fries or Caesar.
I'll be honest, I'm not great at making decisions, so I'd probably get both. But Lori, when it comes to something like this, we know the need in our city continues to grow. How vital is something like this when we get into, the fall and the winter and we're getting towards the holidays?
Well, you can see it yourself out on the streets. 1 in 4 Canadians can't access the food they need, and we know that need is always higher in Toronto. And so this stuff, it really, really matters. But, it doesn't always have to be doom and gloom. Like, enjoy a good burger at the Well, and you're helping somebody at the same time. Like, what's better than that?
You had me at burgers. Well, thank you both so much. Burger Fest goes until November 2nd. I'm going to send things back inside to the studio.
Thank you.
Best part.
There's one for each of you. Enjoy. Oh,
3
so
for me.
good. And it's lunchtime, right? Weather-wise, let's head back to Rogers Center. Lindsay's there. Nathan Downer's going to be down at the Dome tonight. This city is just alive with excitement, and it doesn't matter what the weather does, I don't think.
Yeah, no matter what, there's a warmth in the air. People are feeling good. Game 7, the best 2 words in sports. Lindsay.
You love to hear it, Nathan. We're all so excited for tonight. It's going to be fantastic. And I hope everyone is hungry. We just talked about some burgers with Jessica, but I thought this was the perfect time to get in line for a hot dog, because this place is going to be pretty busy in a little while. Let's see. I think there's a nice dog ready for me. Thank you, sir. Look at that. That looks fabulous. I'm going to get this all dolled up and enjoy maybe a bit of an early treat before the festivities really get going here. But you're right. It's a beautiful day. We've got sunshine out here now. And temperature-wise, it's pretty comfortable, too. I think it's going to be ideal for fans heading down here for the big Game 7 tonight. Let's get to your forecast. We'll begin by letting you know that weather is brought to you by the Presler Law Firm. Injury lawyers, you don't pay unless they win. All right, so yes, we've had quite a bit of rain. Here's a look at our current satellite and radar. It's not too bad anymore. Those showers are tapering off, and the big system that brought us all the rain and the gusty winds yesterday, it is now moving well off to the east as well. But there is another low on its heels, so we're not quite done with the active weather as a whole. Maybe for today we are looking at improvements, but you're going to need your umbrella most days this week, with the chance of showers, the opportunity for wet and windy weather once again. We're setting our forecast radar in motion. Looks like the next round of significant precipitation doesn't return until tomorrow. So again, that's some good news. On and off showers for your Tuesday, and then Wednesday looks to be a little bit unsettled as well. The difference over the next couple of days is the fact that it's going to start to get a little bit cooler in addition to becoming unsettled once more. Temperature-wise, yeah, we're not too cool right now. It's nice and comfortable for spending some time outside, even downtown here, a little closer to the Lake Ontario proximity. It's not bad at all. Here's a look at today's forecast daytime highs. We are forecasting about 15 degrees for a high here in the city of Toronto. That is above seasonal. The norm this time of year is 12. It's not bad. Yeah, still a chance of showers, especially early this afternoon, but overall conditions are drying out as we make our way into the evening. There's a look at what you can expect really around the overnight hours. So for a low, 8 is what we're forecasting. 5 is the norm. And let's talk about tomorrow, because yes, it is going to be a little bit of an unsettled day. Temperature wise, it's a little cooler than it is expected to be at the height of the day today. But I must say, under the sunshine, feels pretty good out here. Let's talk about what else is in store for the next couple of days here. Beginning with tomorrow at a glance, keep the umbrella handy, mainly cloudy skies and the chance of showers certainly. And then the rest of your 7-day forecast forecast looks like this. Not bad as we make our way through the week, but yes, it is going to get a little cooler and we remain unsettled. Again, we are live here outside the Rogers Centre. Nathan and Michelle, here we have it. Happy lunchtime. Again, I'm enjoying this now before the crowds get here. I'll send it back inside to you.
We've had burgers, we've had hot dogs. I love this food theme.
I love it.
All right, looks good. Thank you, Lindsay. Still to come, cuts to funding in U.S. healthcare research are presenting an opportunity for Canada. We'll have more on Canadian hospitals trying to attract doctors to come north when we come back. Another one, I saw the 3 burger. Massive cuts to science funding and health research is being described as a crisis by some, but also a potential opportunity for others, including Canada.
An Ontario hospital has launched a program called Canada Leads, raising millions to help fund research for those who want to move north. CTV's Avis Favreau has the details.
Last day, Prime Medicine Cancer Center.
This is cancer scientist Wes Wilson.
Very close to the border.
As he leaves a prestigious position in the U.S. for Canada, among a steady flow of scientists who are fleeing uncertainty and anxiety around science and medicine in the U.S.
People are talking about Europe. People are talking about Canada and Australia. It's a weird situation right now.
And he's among the first 25 scientists recruited by Toronto's University Health Network, which raised $30 million for salaries and lab space to lure talent north, including Canadian-born Wilson.
To have that secured funding, to know that this work is going to have an impact on patients was a deal breaker.
He'll be continuing his work on CAR T-cell therapy.
Every little bit counts,
to treat cancer, along with using AI to uncover new therapies.
Without someone who knows not only the medical part of it, but also the biological, but also the AI, is absolutely essential. And so Dr. Wilson fits that bill exactly.
The hospital says over 600 researchers from the U.S., Europe, and Canada have applied, with 75 more positions being filled in the coming months.
The best and the brightest are absolutely interested in coming here. What's keeping them from coming here are opportunities and funding. Because when we've made this funding available, we've seen massive interest in this.
The reality is that few Canadian hospitals and universities can fundraise for programs like this, and Ottawa's support for research and development has been dropping since 2020. Canada is now second last among G7 countries. And studies confirm innovation creates new industries.
We found that every $1 you put into research and development, you'll get approximately $5 back in return. And that goes to jobs, that goes to products, that goes to businesses across Canada.
And so with proof that Canada can score a brain gain, scientists will be watching to see if Ottawa also invests more in research to make this country a science destination. Avis Favreau, CTV News, Toronto.
Doctors in Montreal are using a new AI tool to help detect cancer earlier.
It's all part of a major medical advancement aimed at offering patients a better prognosis. CTV's Olivia O'Malley has the details.
I'm looking forward to that.
Peter Ross was given 14 months to live when doctors found a tumor in his brain. That was almost 4 years ago. Now he and his wife are getting ready to become grandparents. He says his second chance at life is all thanks to this surgical device made in Montreal that uses AI.
It's given me the rest of my life.
I keep pinching myself that, wow, he's still here. He's still here. So when the alternative is that he's not. So whatever happens is, we're grateful.
Ross was referred to Dr. Kevin Petreka at the Montreal Neuro. He is the co-founder of Sentry, a handheld device that differentiates cancerous tissue from healthy tissue.
98.7% of the time, if it says it's tumor, it's tumor. And equally, or maybe even more importantly, if it says normal brain, it's normal brain 100% of the time.
Petreka says cancer is not visible to the naked eye or any other technology. So this tool allows surgeons to go beyond what was previously possible and remove more cancer than ever before.
You make contact with the spot and you will get feedback within less than 3 seconds if it contains tumor cells or not.
According to Petreka, using this device during surgery can extend a patient's life by 2 to 5 times longer than expected. Hundreds of patients have been involved in clinical trials, including Ross.
I take every extra day that's given to me to go out and walk and just, enjoy life, because I owe that to this surgery.
The next step for Sentry is to be FDA approved. A pivotal trial is scheduled for May. Once completed, Petreka says they will apply for Health Canada approval. Ross hopes after that the tool will help more patients live to experience precious milestones. Olivia O'Malley, CTV News.
Still to come, the city is buzzing over the Blue Jays and Game 7 of the ALCS tonight. We'll have more on the online reaction to the team's playoff run when we come back.
Get Toronto's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
The city is buzzing ahead of Game 7 between the Blue Jays and Mariners tonight, and the excitement and all the feelings, well, they are pouring out online. For more, we're joined by Sam East, host with 99.9 Virgin Radio, for our regular Monday segment, Chronically Online. Sam, we're so close. One win, then we're in the World Series, but it could all end tonight. I'm sure Jays fans have all the feels. What are you seeing?
So much fun online reaction, Michelle. Of course, this is a moment in Toronto sports history. This is the second time that the Jays have gone to a Game 7 in their history. Big moments, of course, from last night. We've covered that. We know Jays, Mariners, they've now forced a Game 7. But some of the reaction online is what I want to focus on today, including this Jays customized prayer that I think a lot of us can get behind. Our Blue Jays, who art in Toronto, hallowed be thy name. Thy game day come, give us this, our Game 7 win. And forgive us our doubts as we forgive those who have doubted against us. And lead us not to the golf course, but deliver us to the World Series. Amen. And I think we can all get behind that. Another very graceful fan that said, as a Mariners fan, this has been a great series. Best of luck today. Another fan saying, no matter what, you've made an entire country so incredibly proud. You got this. And finally, someone saying here, this ain't the Leafs that we're dealing with. Jays in 7. So, as you can imagine, yes, some subtle shade there towards our Toronto Maple Leafs, but a lot of emotions, a lot of online reaction. We are waiting with bated breath. Tonight's Game 7. I'm assuming you're going to be watching, Michelle.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. and households everywhere. Kids are getting on board, and one of the issues we're having is they want to stay up late. But I thought, okay, maybe tonight, because they could very well book their ticket to the World Series, but they also got a function for school as well. But yeah, these are core memories for people in this city. We all vividly, those of us who were around the last time, we all remember it so vividly. So it's really exciting. And I love what Vladdy said last night. He's born ready for this. So here we go. It'll be a great game. Nathan's going to be downtown. And speaking of downtown, we should note that the Toronto Waterfront Marathon, it took over the streets yesterday for much of the day with the big race, generating lots of online reaction, lots of good. But then, with these marathons that close down streets, some bad as well. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so let's start with the wins. About 30,000 people, some traveling from different parts of the world, were in Toronto running this race, the 5K, the half marathon, and the full marathon. And for anyone who's ever been a part of something like this, it's very emotional. You've spent weeks and months training for this, and then here you are in a sea of people competing, just trying to make it past that finish line. And, there's some moments, of course, that are going viral, including this with our very own mayor, Olivia Chow, cheering runners on while a marching band was playing for her as well. A little Lady Gaga Bad Romance.
Oh, yeah. You got to give it to the mayor, whether she's swinging a bat or she never takes a day off. And pretty cool for those who trained all that way to then, get a little high five from Olivia Chow.
Yeah, and she's dancing along with you, of course, very involved in that. So those were some of the wins, a lot of great wins. But then like every year, there's massive road closures that happened right in the city for this big marathon. And that left people stranded on the Gardiner, abandoning their cars in order to get to where they need to be. I don't know how they're going to make it through, but they did. They made do with what they had going on. The marathon in full effect and people rolling their luggage around, their bags, and just abandoning their cars. It happens every year. Every year we have stories like this.
And it's our duty in local news to mention that this is coming. But yeah, I think it's like, I'm always torn with this, because if you're running the race, you have friends who you're so pumped for them and you love all the tourism dollars that come in. But then also if you have maybe family coming into town or you have to go somewhere, it's a nightmare. And unfortunately in our city, traffic can be a nightmare on a good day, Sam.
Exactly. But I can imagine the desperation of someone sitting in traffic, getting to where they need to be, their Sunday brunch perhaps, and they had no choice. They got to do what they got to do. But congrats to all 30,000 runners who crossed that finish line.
Congratulations. I echo that. Sam East, 99.9 Virgin Radio. Great to have you on this Monday. You always brighten our day. You can catch her show from 2 to 5 p.m. on weekdays. Take care.
Thanks, Michelle.
With Halloween fast approaching, moviegoers are looking to get spooked this weekend. Horror sequel Black Phone 2 smashed the competition with $26.5 million U.S. in ticket sales across North America. Meanwhile, Tron Ares added another $11.1 million to its lower-than-expected box office performance. Supernatural comedy Good Fortune, directed by and starring Aziz Ansari, debuted in third with $6.2 million. Coming up, traffic incidents in Fredericton have prompted several local businesses to start their own contests. We'll have the details when we come back.
Okay, that's funny. Traffic incidents at a busy bridge in Fredericton, New Brunswick have prompted several local businesses to create their own contests.
They're encouraging residents to guess when the next truck will get stuck under the bridge. CTV's Sarah Plowman has the story.
Fredericton's walking bridge is popular to stroll over or pass under. A month ago, this was the attraction, a semi stuck underneath halting traffic. 2 days before, a different truck, the same position. New England Pizza launched a contest. Who can guess when this will happen next?
I wasn't expecting anything this year. I was expecting, it'd be next spring.
Guess right and win a $100 gift card. 23 people chose last Friday when it happened again. The owner will pay out $2,300.
Oh, I'm over the moon. This is great. It's good for engagement. It's good. It's just good for everybody. Everybody's laughing, having a good time about it.
Across town, another contest from a company that makes road signs and made one to highlight how many days it's been.
It was the chatter of the town. Everybody was talking about it and wondering why. It keeps happening, but it's the GPS routes. We have construction going on downtown.
One person won a gift card and sign, and now the contest restarts.
I have a prediction of, I think, November 19th range. I'm giving it a little bit of distance, but we'll see.
15 times since 2007, a truck has struck this bridge. The city says it does inspections of the bridge and doesn't anticipate any structural issues to the underpass from truck strikes. There are warnings for drivers that this is just 3.5 meters high.
Every time it happens, I swear, at family dinners, everybody's like, hey, guess what? Somebody hit the bridge again.
Will it happen again or when? That's anyone's guess. Sarah Plowman, CTV News, Fredericton.
That story's something. Anyway, we're moving on to the Jays, and the contest for us is, what will the score be? Are they going to take it tonight?
I just know they do well when, things are on the line.
True.
This team has been amazing. We're so darn close, and we're going to be all over the dome tonight. Nathan, Lindsay, and what's the vibe like there? I'm loving the sunshine this hour, Lindsay.
It is stunning out here, Michelle and Nathan. The day has completely turned around. I think it's a good omen, wouldn't you say? I'm feeling good. I feel great about this team. I feel good about the fact that we've made it to Game 7, and the crowd is gradually getting a little bit bigger here. So I think everyone's feeling good too. They're taking lots of pictures and, of course, enjoying the conditions. The big question is whether or not the roof, the dome, is going to be open here at Rogers Centre. As we know, during the playoffs, Major League Baseball is the one that determines whether or not that roof is open or closed, not the Blue Jays. What we do know is that the Jays have a pretty good winning percentage amount with the dome open, but I must say, with the dome closed last night, the noise inside sounded awesome. So I think there's pros to either situation, let's put it that way. One more look at your weather. Again, this active weather is clearing out, which is great news. We're saying goodbye to the wet weather, and we're looking at some sunshine mixed with cloud cover through the rest of the afternoon. Here's your Game 7 forecast for about 8 o'clock tonight. 12 degrees is the expected temperature, mostly clear skies, and even though we're still dealing with some breezy winds right now, those winds are expected to ease. Waking up tomorrow morning, once again, we have the potential for some wet weather through periods of the day tomorrow, but the morning looks not bad, mostly cloudy skies, single-digit temperatures, and a look at the 7-day forecast looks not bad heading into next weekend. Again, we are live here at Rogers Centre. We will be for the rest of the day, so make sure you tune in a little later on. Let's go Blue Jays. Nathan and Michelle, back inside to you.
All right, let's go. Thanks, Lindsay. And that is CTV News at noon. Remember, you can get Toronto's breaking news all day long on CP24 and at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Lindsay Morrison and the whole team here, have a pleasant afternoon. I'm Michelle Dubé.
And I'm Nathan Downer. Be sure to join us later for CTV News at 5 and 6. Have a great afternoon.
Come on through.